What's up, everyone? John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here at the full review for you of the giant Samsung Galaxy Note. Let's go see if this phone is as big in performance as it is in size and whether or not it deserves a giant place in your pockets. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so let me go ahead and run through the specs of the Samsung Galaxy Note because as of right now, and that's pre-CES, it is probably the best spec phone on the planet. So it is running Android 2.3. There's no ice cream sandwich action here, although Samsung has said it will be coming sometime in the next few months. From a dimension standpoint, it is 5.78 inches by 3.27 inches by a very thin 0.38 inches. So large screen. That screen is 5.3 inches and it weighs 6.28 ounces. All right, so that 5.3 inch screen that I just talked about is WXGA. It's an HD resolution. It's significantly actually HD with the resolution of 800 by 1280. And it's a super AMOLED, it's an HD super AMOLED display. So there's a lot of words that go into describe this thing. It is a pen tile display, though. We'll talk about that a little bit. Powering this guy is a 2500 milliamp hour battery. It's going to give you 13 hours of talk time and 570 hours of standby time. It's a 1.4 gigahertz dual core Cortex A9. That's the heavily regarded Exynos chipset. Gig of RAM, you can get it in either 16 or 32 gig configurations, and it's got micro SD. On the back of it, 8 megapixel camera with LED flash. You can shoot 1080p video. On the front, we've got a 2 megapixel sensor right there. No Network has officially picked this device up. It's available unlocked and compatible with AT&T's HSPA Plus network. Although if you believe the rumor mill, then you can think that it's perhaps coming to AT&T and Sprint sometime in the next few months. All right, so we talked about the specs. Let me go ahead and jump in just very quickly about call quality. Call quality was great, actually. I didn't have one dropped call. And I've been using this phone as my daily driver for actually a week exactly today. And I haven't had a single drop call on it. So, yay for that. Speaker is a little bit on the tinny side, but it works well. For a phone this big, you'd probably think there could be a little bit more room for a speaker than just a little grill right there. But it's average and on par with the rest of the smartphones out there. So if you rely on speakerphone, you'll be fine. If you need it for business, you'll be fine too, but you're not going to get booming sound out of it. All right, so let's just go ahead and talk about the big monkey in the room first, the size of this guy. Now on video, you might not be able to appreciate the size of it. So let me go ahead and bring in a 3.5 inch iPhone, which you can see what the size of that is. Let me bring in an even larger HTC Titan with a about 4.5 inch screen, and which previously felt giant to me. And then looking at this, the Titan somehow looks diminutive. So one more time. There it is with the iPhone 4S. And for further comparison, let's bring in a Galaxy Nexus so you can see size comparisons. So yeah, it's a huge, huge, huge screen. And with a huge screen comes huge screen questions. You probably the same questions I did. First of all, how silly are you going to look talking on this phone, putting it up to your head? Is it going to look like you got a Galaxy Tab up to your head while you're making a phone call? Was the first question. The second is, how is it going to fit in your pocket? The answer is, it looks a little bit silly up to your head. If I've tested pretty much every phone that's come out over the past few years. I've never had people stop me more than with the Galaxy Note and want to say, what the heck is that? Is it a phone? Is it a tablet? Most people haven't heard the Galaxy Note because it hasn't been released here in the US. But it works very well if you can get over that little bit of awkward feeling. Now it feels pretty normal to me. Although to other people seeing it, they sort of stop and turn. As far as the pocket test goes, it's extremely pocketable. With normal dude jeans, I'm able to fit it in my pocket without any difficulty, even while sitting down. If your jeans are on the skinnier side, if you're a woman that maybe wears tighter pants, you might have a bit of trouble. But just for a normal dude, surprisingly worked well. All right, so we've got the potentially bad stuff the screen says out of the way. Let's talk about the good stuff, shall we? And there is a lot of good stuff here. On the first one, because the screen's so big and because the resolution is so high at 800 by 1280, you can see a lot of content on the screen. And because the screen is bigger and the resolution is so high, the pixels actually don't look that small. So you can view things actually pretty easily. So if you zoom in on text, I've never once noticed any sort of pixelation on here. So it is pen tile, but I haven't noticed any sort of issue at all. There hasn't been any green color tint. It's got pretty good visibility from all angles. Hopefully you can see what that looks like. It's my dog Lucy, by the way. She's a French bulldog. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about her if you follow me on Twitter, at John4Lakers. So the pen tile display definitely, and that's because the resolution or the screen size is so big. It's tough to get a AMOLED Plus display affordable in a 5.3-inch variety. So something to keep in mind. Some of the great things though that you're going to get with this, when you're reading a book or whether you're doing anything sort of reading intensive. So go ahead and take a look at the Kindle app here. It's great. Taking this phone to the gym and go ahead and let it sync up to my current location. Sitting at the gym and riding a bike and being able to read, this thing is incredible. Much easier to read than any other phone I've ever used, just due to sheer size. So that's definitely one of the positives. You've been sort of lugging around a tablet and lugging around a phone. This is really going to be a wonderful choice for you. As a personal story, I did have someone stop me outside of a restaurant who pulled out one of the original Galaxy tabs and said he carries it around with him. He's looking for something in between, so he doesn't have to carry a phone and a tablet. So for people like that, this is probably going to be an ideal choice. So let me show you some of the images in here as well. We'll go ahead and jump into Gallery. Let me show you some of the stuff that comes standard on here. So we'll jump into, actually I'll show you one of the pictures that I've taken, which is kind of fun. We'll talk about the camera a little bit later, but at least you can see what the quality looks like. Most of the subjects appear to be my dog Lucy. Let's go ahead and go to a recent one. Here is Lucy enjoying a stick. Pretty decent visibility here. The camera quality was pretty nice. It was a little bit bad in low light, but on a screen this beautiful when you're looking at it, not on a computer monitor. Things absolutely look great and pop, and really no problem at all. So if you wanted a beautiful screen to look at pictures or movies, this is just an awesome phone to do that on. All right, so let's go ahead and talk next about the speed. And the speed is a lot of things, a lot of topic of discussion, let's just say. So for those of you that are wondering, get it out of the way. Quadrant score 3,410, and then Antutu 6,378. The phone was extremely fast opening applications. I never had any slowdowns. I will say though that I did have to pretty actively manage my applications here. So oftentimes I'll go into RAM and I'll sort of clear stuff. So you can see how much free you have out of that 1 gigabyte rather. So I have to go ahead and clear that. But as I manage it, it hasn't been that big of an issue. The speed has always been very fast. Opening applications and such has never been a problem, no matter how many I've had open. This phone is an absolute screamer and really just hauls no matter what you're doing, whether or not you want to play Angry Birds, which is awesome on a screen this big, or they want to go back and open a ton of applications. You're not going to have any trouble at all. It's probably one of the fastest phones that I've used, and you really see the speed and from the specs come into play here on the Galaxy Note. So very fast. Also, one of the surprising things that's been very fast about it has been HSPA+. Let me go ahead and turn off Wi-Fi. You guys have seen me do a lot of HSPA Plus speed tests, and I never get anything screeching fast. The highest I usually get, sometime I'll get 3 or 4 on a really good day. We'll see if it'll do it for us here, but speed tests I've been getting in the 6s and 7s on this device. And this is not LTE, this is just HSPA Plus. Let's go ahead and see what it'll give us here live on camera. Very rarely do things behave on camera, but we'll give it a shot and see. And again, it's going to vary depending where you are. I'm in Southern California, so your HSPA Plus speeds may vary, but this is definitely the fastest HSPA Plus device I've tested on AT&T's network. And it is behaving for the first time. Something on camera actually worked the way I hoped it to. We got almost 5 megabits per second down, which would even be considered on the slow side of LTE, but certainly acceptable. The upload speed, certainly you can see a slowdown, but the download has been great. This phone has been surprisingly impressive. So we'll go ahead and exit out of that. It is running Gingerbread, so you've got Gingerbread buttons. Hope you can see them light up there in the background, but there are 2 capacitive buttons here on the bottom. Might not be able to see it with the on the light, but we've got a back button and a menu button. You've got a giant home button. So I like having the physical buttons. People may vary. One of the other things that this phone offers is on the back is S Pen technology. Go ahead and pull that out. It's funny to have a phone with the stylus again. This uses Wacom technology to use some pressure-sensitive scribing. So let me go ahead and show you some of this stuff. So first you can go ahead and go through your phone and use this to point and zoom, whatever you want. If you want to take a screenshot, for example, actually I'll go ahead and do that right now. You can use a pen. There's a little button on it right there. If you hold down the button and you tap the screen, it's going to go ahead and take a screenshot. And now you can edit the screenshot. And you can see some of the applications that you can use. So let me go ahead and show you a few things here, and I'll sort of haul through this very quickly. So I go ahead and open up this area right there, which will give me the specs to change color, what I'm writing on, and the pen size. So I've got it as big as it'll go. Let me go ahead and move it down to a reasonable size. And we'll go to pen. You can choose the pen and the color and all that kind of stuff. We'll use red. And let's go back home. So I'm going to go ahead and try and trace the time here. So it's 2:23. I'm going to use the pen, and I'm going to zoom in as far as I can. It'll still show clear, so you can see where the pen is. I want to show you the accuracy of the S Pen technology. So I'm going to go ahead and put the top of it right in the middle of that 2. I'm going to try and trace it as close as I can. It stays inside pretty well. Now it tracks a little bit behind. But I'm definitely able to get inside of there. So it's more accurate than any other capacitive stylus that I've seen. It isn't actually a capacitive stylus, but the concept is very similar. As I touch and type, you can see it drags a little bit behind. As I go, it catches up, but it's not bad. I do wish there was some sort of handwriting recognition on here that I could sort of type and it would transcribe it. There is some capabilities, but it hasn't been as useful as I would have liked. So I would have wanted that to be a little bit more useful. This is going to be handy if you want to take notes or scribble. I found it to be a bit more of a novelty, and since I first unboxed the phone and tried the S Pen, I have yet to take it out of the box to use it, or take it out of the bottom to use it for anything else. So most of the time, it's probably going to live down there and is not going to be overly useful. When I saw this phone get announced at IFA, Samsung actually had a caricature artist that was using the S Pen and was drawing people's pictures and emailing it off to him. Kind of fun and a random side story. So we talked a little bit about the camera. It's fine. It's the standard camera. If you ever use the Galaxy S2, you'll know exactly what you're in for. It's good. It's not great. Takes decent pictures. Video looks fine. I'm not much of a camera guy. If I can see a picture, it's generally good for me. I didn't have any pixelation or blurriness on it. All right, so next let's talk about battery, which is one of the things I was really worried about this phone. It's got a big old display, and it's got a big old battery to go with it, 2,500 milliamp hours. If I did this review the first 2 days I had the phone, I would have said the battery life stunk. Come 4 or 5 o'clock, I was down to 10, 20%. And I thought that was because I was using the phone as much as any other phone. I got 2 email applications, pulling down emails all the time, using it a lot for phone calls, Bluetooth connected, sort of usual phone stuff. But as the days went on and I started using it for 3, 4, and 5 days, I started using it more as I'd use an average phone, as much as I'd use an average phone. Battery life got way better. So you can see now it's 2:23 in the afternoon. I still have 77% of the battery. Now when I go to bed around 10 or 11 o'clock, I generally have about 45% of juice left here in the phone. So battery life is surprisingly good. I think I was just really excited to have a phone this big. I was playing with it quite a bit, and that was killing the battery. But using it normally, battery life has been pretty outstanding. So something to keep in mind. You're not going to have to worry much. If you're a frequent road warrior, let's say you're going to the Consumer Electronics Show, you may want to pick up an extra battery for it. So let's talk a little bit about TouchWiz. TouchWiz is a dog. It is what Samsung puts on top of their Android devices. It's what makes these icons look different. It's what gives you, I'll go ahead and pull that down, this stuff here at the top, which is nice. And there are some nice tweaks here that TouchWiz has done, but it's pretty heavy on the memory usage standpoint. So I would have preferred a stock Android experience, and something you're never going to get generally with the stock Samsung device unless it's a Galaxy series or you choose to root and put on a custom ROM. This phone is dying for ice cream sandwich. Dying for ice cream sandwich. As I go through and close applications and go to RAM and hit clear, I keep thinking how nice it would be just to go ahead and hit my multitasking button and swipe away all the applications that I'm using. Had I never used the Galaxy Nexus, I never experienced ice cream sandwich, I'd say this is hands down the best Android phone I have ever used or would ever want to use. But not running the most recent build of ice cream sandwich is a little bit sad. You've got just incredible parts here to put together for an awesome phone, one that's just not 100% there yet. However, there is hope. Ice cream sandwich is coming and coming very soon, Samsung says, and the very capable Cyanogen team has released an alpha build of a completely blank slate ice cream sandwich for the Galaxy Note. We'll have a release candidate hopefully soon. And I think that once those two things, or one of those two things, finally come, you are looking at the best Android phone currently available. From a screen size to a processor to user experience, this has just been incredible to use. And that user experience is something that is very important. And you can have great specs, but if it's not going to work well, it's not going to be of much use to you. This has been a really enjoyable user experience on the Samsung Galaxy Note. I like having a phone this big. I like that I don't have to carry my iPad when I'm sitting downstairs and want to check my fantasy team. I can do it right from here, and I can pinch and zoom, and everything just works well. Not to mention, it does have abilities to play Flash content, which I haven't used that much, but for some people that's important. This phone definitely would get a 99.9% score, and it can get that extra 100 as soon as it gets Ice Cream Sandwich. So if it does come to AT&T, if it does come to Sprint, definitely going to be a phone that you're going to want to seriously consider if you're looking for an Android device, or really if you're looking for any type of phone. Galaxy Note really gets 2 thumbs up. So for all your tech news, be sure to check us out at technobuffalo.com. We've got reviews, unboxings, hands-on, all kinds of other stuff like this. We'll be at the Consumer Electronics Show all this week, covering the latest and greatest stuff coming out. If you're watching this after CES, I hope you checked out all of our CES coverage. I am John Rettinger from, you guessed it, Techno Buffalo, and I'll see you and the Galaxy Note in the next video. Bye-bye.